Hey there, viewers, and we're back. Jess and Jor hanging out. What's up, Jess? Yeah, she's doing so great today. But the next segment we're going to be talking about, we talked to someone from the food service department, Jessica Rankin, about the food service department and what they want to do with the menu this year, because they're doing all kinds of new healthy, choices. And this year I know they're focusing on lunch, because, lunch is such an important meal. And next year I think they're going to focus a little more on breakfast. But we'll talk to her about the changes and maybe why we can't bring in, cupcakes. Because, don't you love cupcakes, Jess? I love cupcakes. Yeah, she loves cupcakes. She loves them. She loves, any kind of sweets. I brought in cookies yesterday, and I gave her one, and she was, so excited, right? Yeah. So we'll check out this, the segment about the food service and healthy foods in school.
Hello viewers, I'm joined today with Jessica Rankin, the Food Productive and Catering Manager for the Norristown Area School District. How are you doing today?
Good.
Good. Can you tell us a little about what your department does?
Sure. We manage the food service department, the operations for the entire school district, which consists of 6 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, here at the high school and over at Roosevelt. We plan the menus. We also are responsible for a lot of the wellness initiatives that are going on in the district, and make sure that you guys have the meals you need, breakfast and lunch, 5 days a week.
Right. From my understanding, you guys are trying to, crack down on the whole teen obesity thing. So how are you guys going to do that?
Well, we've basically, we started a few years back. Some initiatives came down from the USDA and the state and local governments, and basically starting to get all the kids away from just empty calories, which are, just white breads and white baked products, candy, soda, all of the foods that provide little to no nutritional value. So we started promoting whole grains, fruits and vegetables, and trying to introduce some new healthy alternatives to what you guys see on a regular basis. For example, the chicken nuggets that you see now have a whole grain breading on them, and the breads served on the deli bar are now 51% or over in whole grains. So just trying to allow you guys to still have the food you want to have, but having them be a little bit more healthy for you.
Right. Now, what guidelines do you have to follow in order to overcome this whole obesity thing?
Well, we have been, this year, Michelle Obama, like I had mentioned, is doing a huge push on promoting healthy foods to kids. She's done a lot of also some physical activity promotions, and she's really targeting the school food service programs. She's actually providing significant amount of funding for districts like ours that and providing us extra money per meal to try to get the food to be a little bit healthier, because obviously we know healthier food costs a little bit more. Yeah. So it's sometimes we get some rules that are handed down through the government that really provides no funding, but she's really stepped up and given us the funds that we need to start moving in that direction. So a lot of this year has been her, but in the past we've also just been trying to move towards that direction in general. Right. Childhood obesity is a problem in our country, and we do have an active role in trying to curb some of those issues.
Right. So here at our school, we receive a breakfast and a lunch. So what would you rather, maybe start with as far as lowering the obesity in the breakfast or lunch, the breakfast or the lunch?
Well, this year the focus is lunch. I'm sorry, but I personally think breakfast is just as important as lunch. If you wake up in the morning and you don't have the proper nutrients in your body, the statistics show that you really do not perform as well in school. If you fill yourself up in the morning with empty calories, you can't perform to your optimal you can't focus longer.
Right.
I mean, your attention span isn't to its peak, and you're tired, and when your stomach's grumbling, you're distracted. It's very, very important to eat breakfast in the morning.
Right.
I just started a new program here to try to get more kids eating breakfast here. It's a kiosk cart. It's right in the cafeteria when you walk in the morning, rather than having the traditional serving line.
Okay.
I knew that there were some timing issues going on here with buses and homeroom schedules. So we just got a grant and a donation from Kellogg's, where we now have a cart that's pretty visible, and we sell Pop-Tarts, muffins, something really quick that you can just take with you.
Right.
It just started this year, and I know that it's still, it's new, but I'm hoping that, over the next few months and, in the next couple years, it will be something that's utilized more here at this school.
Right. I don't know if you remember, but maybe can you tell us a little about what the lunch was in the past before this whole process?
Yeah.
Just go over the menu for us.
Yeah, well, when I got here, which was a little over 5 years ago, they were still selling desserts, selling, like cinnamon buns and, like having chips that were full fat,
Right.
bigger size bags, sodas, white bread, all these things.
Right.
And I came in, and it was kind of when the regulations started. And, and then another big piece to this is, the manufacturers and the people that develop these products, they are also having to change the way, the products they make and the products they launch. So, they're all trying to, they want the business,
Right.
so they're trying to adapt their ways. But they used to sell, pizzas. The slice of pizza was well over 600 calories. Like you were having empty the cinnamon buns and all of that, which, probably it tastes, great when you're eating it, but you're probably asleep on your desk at 1:30. It's just loaded with sugar. And, the drinks that are 24 fluid ounces that have more sugar in your body than you need over, like, in a week total, those things are really, really detrimental to your health. And and another thing is, you have to think about, like, we're trying to set an example here. We know that we only have you guys for 2 meals, and then you go home.
Right.
But we're trying to, like, if you go home and you go to McDonald's, or we have to do our part here and ensure that you guys are eating healthy at school.
Right. Yeah. I know in New York City, there was a banned soda law, and they banned the soda for being too specific ounces. So did that kind of help you guys get started with this?
Well, like the governor up there in New York, there are some like politicians that are trying to pioneer this health push. And what he's doing is, if you sell soda over a certain amount of fluid ounces, like you mentioned, it is going to be at an extra cost, which, there was a lot of pushback, because, grown adults should be able to make their own decisions in terms of what they want. But they're saying that, sodas that are, if you have a soda that big every single day, it's the equivalent of, raising the prices of alcohol and cigarettes. I mean, they're saying that it's actually just as detrimental to your health to be drinking these drinks every day as it is if you were, buying those other products that are so harmful to your body.
Right. In the last 6 months, the teen obesity rate has been going down. So that's a good sign. So do you think this will keep going down if we keep the process up?
Absolutely. I think parents are becoming more aware. I think that, they're trying to teach their children about, healthy habits, because, childhood obesity was and still is a very big problem.
Right.
But as more people are becoming aware, and, even, kids and young adults, they're starting to become more aware. The issue is slowly going to get better. There's no proven statistics that what we're doing at school is actually making a difference, because it is so new. But like, all we can do is try to instill these, provide nutrition education and promote physical activity, and teach everybody about the importance of eating right, and hopefully things will change.
Right. So how will you your school district in the next couple of years?
Well, actually, this year, some exciting news. We got a really nice grant from the USDA that's pushing local foods. So we're going to try to be sourcing from some local farms and some local manufacturers within our area. So in this year, you will be seeing some fresh fruits and vegetables, hopefully some other foods that are produced very, very local to our location. Which is also, it supports our community, and if you think about like a Washington apple, I mean, that's coming all the way from Washington. What about the apples that are grown in Lancaster and right here that don't have to travel the entire distance of the country? Also continuing, like I opened the salad bar this year. It's been going really well. Continuing to change up what's served on those items, and so you guys can see some variety. Also we're trying to get into some gardening projects like throughout the district. I've talked to even some science teachers in this school and out in some other schools about trying to grow gardens, and then you guys can actually see what you make in the serving lines, like growing rosemary, and then we can have rosemary potatoes on the lunch line, and that was grown like upstairs in your greenhouse, or just trying to utilize those resources and really communicate with all the members of the school about promoting these things.
Right. So how will your program be beneficial to the students?
Well, I'm a big advocate of this personally. About I try to live a healthy lifestyle myself, and I think it's so important. I think it's just as important that kids are installed with these this mentality as it is with every subject that you're learning. Like this helps you be a well-rounded individual now, which will then will help you grow into that as an adult, and then you will teach your family, and it will just it will get better over time. And I am happy to do the work of trying to organize these menus, and maybe spend a little bit more to expose you all to more variety, because it's really great stuff, and once you give it a chance, you'll find that some of it is really tasty, and there's some creative ways to cook these things and to present them, and I think it's a really great thing for everyone to get involved in this.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add?
Just that, we do have health councils at all of our schools, and we also have a district-wide health council. We welcome any parents, any students, any teachers, anybody that wants to get involved and help to come up with, initiatives and any ideas about, even menu items, anything that you would think would be interesting or worth looking into. I'm always up for any ideas, and, I would love to hear from, like through email or phone calls, or, I would love to, hear everybody's input about it.
Right.
And also we have a ton of information on our district website. If you go into the department section under food service, we have all of our wellness policies, fundraising, like if you wanted to get away from doing the cupcakes and the cookies and the candy, we have some alternate like ideas about how to raise money, or if you wanted to have a classroom party. We also, as a food service department, if you wanted to buy some products to have a party, we will work with you to get something, like if we have like whole wheat cookies or whole wheat pastries or something like that. We do provide those types of services if you still wanted to do something, but you just wanted to make it a little bit healthier and didn't really know how to go about doing it. And that's about it. Our information's out there, and I'd love to hear any input.
Right. So you're saying that the food service doesn't also always apply to the cafeteria, also applies to the classroom?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, we have policies in place to try to limit the amount of cupcakes that are brought in from home, food that is sold, to benefit the school, like in terms of, selling candy, selling, cupcakes, those types of things. Like I said, we do have, like a lot of manufacturers have now come up with a healthier alternative to, like a Christmas cookie. I mean, it's still a cookie, but it's made with wheat flour and has some, we do provide those services. And we would say, if you came to me and said, I want to, sell cookies and you know, like, what do you have available? I could look over the options, give you some ideas, and you could physically purchase it from us at a low cost and sell it for what you wanted to sell it for, to try to raise some money. Or if you wanted to have, you know, it was your birthday and you wanted to, you know, you didn't want to bring anything in from home, you wanted someone downstairs to make it. I mean, they would even go as far as delivering it to your classroom for you, and then, you know, we would just bill you. You can do it through your lunch account, or you can, you know, pay cash or whatever you wanted to do.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just talked to Jessica Rankin, the Food Service Advisor, and back to the Eagles Eye.